Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's your boy Anubis here, bringing you a brand new video here today. But before I get into anything else, guys, I just want to quickly apologize for all the lack of video game content and the lack of vlogs over the weekend. I know, guys, a lot of you guys were kind of enjoying the content I was putting out, and I just want to apologize for all of that, guys, and it's just been lack of motivation and lack of actual good quality content that I want to provide to you guys. And on top of that, I don't have like a really good video editing software. I just use Movie Maker for all you guys who didn't know. Now I know I can go on like other websites and probably get like cracked video editing software like Sony Vegas and such, but I don't want to take the risk of downloading a virus or like downloading this and then downloading that and downloading this and that and that and this, and it just not being what I want or what I need. And then also trying to learn it and figure it out. Obviously, all that takes time, and that's just kind of time I don't really give myself because of my sleep schedule, which is just messed up. And I'm still trying to work on getting back on track. And just with everything that's gone on in my life, and that continues to go on and revolves around me and keeps smacking me in the face, it's so hard. And honestly, too, like I said, I bit off more than I can chew. I really thought I could put out a video in the morning and a video in the afternoon. It's turning out to be a lot more work and a lot more of a drain on me personally, because I thought it was going to be easy. Just, make the videos ahead of time for the morning and then, make the gaming content when you wake up in the morning for the rest of the afternoon. You work until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then once you have the video you want and you need, and once it's of good quality content, you edit it and adjust it so that way all of you guys can watch it and be entertained by it. But unfortunately, that's just not the case lately. I just cannot seem to grasp that quality content I'm looking for, that entertaining video that I want to give to you guys. So once again, guys, I apologize. With that being out of the way, guys, I want to really quickly give another shout out to TriggerKing. TriggerKing has been a wonderful company that's hit me up multiple times and given me multiple free products over the span of last year, and I really didn't get a chance to ever show off this product that they gave me during the last year because I took a break and went to go help my mom, and they sent it to me in the mail. Was not expecting it. And just to really let you guys know, once again, I'm not sponsored. I'm not partnered with these guys. They're not paying me to say this. They're not paying me to do this review or to show it off to you guys. I just want to show it off and pay respect to TriggerKing because it has been so long, and I feel like I do owe them at least this much. So without further ado, TriggerKing, once again, thank you so much for sending me this and just customizing it for me. So without any further babbling, let's get right into it, guys. So this is TriggerKing's old trigger stop that they sent me, the very first one, the original trigger stop they sent me. As you can see here in the very front, they have a curvature or an indent where you can rest your finger and pull the trigger on the PlayStation 4 controller from here, or a second option where you could pull it from here. Now, some people found this more convenient to use this section of the indents to easily access the trigger. For me, this was more of a hassle and felt a lot more uncomfortable, whereas when I was using the main indent here, the top indents, it was a lot more natural and a lot more comfortable and just felt like it's more native button pressing area that you would normally press if you didn't have this on your controller. Now, guys, let me show you what the new trigger stops that they sent me look like and what they did. Here, guys, you have the new trigger stops that they sent me last year. As you guys can see here, they still have the original dents, but what they did was they shaved off or cut off the bottom portion of the trigger, so that way it was more native and more custom for me, and this didn't feel like just a thing in the way. And obviously, as you can see, guys, they still have the top and side screws. And they still have the adjustable hair trigger, which lies in the side screw there. Now that is your hair trigger basically, and the top functions to lower the button down to help further create the hair trigger, and so you can have more rapid fire or easily shooting weapons instead of having to press your trigger all the way down, which is what you normally would have to do. You would have to, press it down, and there's a significant delay in input from when you press it naturally to when you're using these, which I will demonstrate right now in a game. So as you guys can clearly see, we're going to be using Black Ops 3 as our demonstration platform. Now, be advised, guys, that TriggerKing only makes these trigger stops for PS3 and PS4 controllers. They do not make them currently for Xbox. If you guys are interested in purchasing the trigger stops, you can go down below in the description box and find a link to TriggerKing's website down below where you can purchase them. First thing you want to do when you get your trigger stops and you apply them or adhere them to your PS4 controller is obviously let them dry and let them adhere overnight for at least, I would say, 12 hours to a maximum of 24 hours. After they have properly adhered to your controller and you've given the time to bond with the triggers on your controller, that's when you're going to open up your game and then go into a private match or a custom game in this instance and start messing around, tinkering with the screws. What I recommend that you guys do is that you guys create a burst fire weapon class and a class that has a weapon with a lot of ammo, such as the Dingo or any LMG of preference that isn't burst fired. So I've already custom my trigger stops to my liking, so I'm just going to show you guys the difference between them being on and them being off. Alright guys, so here's the instance with the TriggerKing trigger stops currently. So you said just lightly tap it, bam, instant scopes in. Lightly tap the firing trigger, triggers. Just let light tap, and you can see how instant it reacts. One little tap, and I scope in. One little tap, one little tap. And let me show you guys, without it being customized, what it was like before. Alright guys, as you can see, I still have the trigger stops applied, but I've reset them basically to their defaulted state where they are providing no kind of trigger stop or adjusted trigger. So here's a light tap. As you can see, light tap barely goes off. Light tap barely goes off. Like, I really have to kind of press down on it. I have to really, really press down on it. As you guys can see from a clear difference here, I have to really, really press it in order to get to work. So one more time, guys, the difference between this and this. As you guys can clearly see, there's a huge difference in using the trigger stops and not using them. There is a huge gap in the intervals between when you press the button with the trigger stop and without. I hope that video properly demonstrated for all you guys out there how effective the TriggerKing trigger stops are. Basically, guys, they're just a cheaper version of basically getting a scuff with trigger stops or buying the Microsoft controller, the new one that's out there, with built-in trigger stops and paddles. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have paddles. You know, you can't get paddles with this. It's just meant to be a trigger stop option. And it's a nice remedy to a lot of the other trigger stops out there. It's very cheap and affordable. I would definitely recommend buying or purchasing a pair of these or two, as, you know, depending on if you mess up on the adhesive and sticking it on there. Sometimes it can be a little bit problematic for some people, so I'd recommend probably buying an extra pair just in case you mess up. But if you do mess up, any adhesives do come off, they generally usually give you extra adhesives. As you can see here, they've supplied me with a bunch of extra adhesives. So in case the adhesives wear off or I misstick them and I need to rip them off and apply new ones, they give you plenty of extra adhesives to reapply the trigger stop. That's all I got for you guys here today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below on what you think about the TriggerKings. If you have any questions, feel free to also leave a comment with any questions you may have. And if you're new to the channel, guys, make sure you take the time to subscribe. And as always, guys, remember to stay cool, be cool, give respect, and you will get respect in return. Peace. I love you guys.